Hey guys, Nostalgic Dan 1 again here with a new video, and this time I'm back with my follow-up to my summer backlog for 2012. And if you recall, a couple months back I put up a summer backlog. I had like 5 games chosen, and a lot of people did this too. It's just some games we wanted to beat over the summer. But I actually wound up beating some other games I didn't plan to beat because like you know how this works. It's like you get some new games in, you maybe play those, you get into those, and at the end of the day I cleared 2 games off my 2 out of the 5 I mentioned, but I wound up beating some other games that are awesome. But we're gonna jump into that. But first of all, I didn't beat Lost Odyssey yet, even though I'm on the final disc. I literally probably only have like 8 to 5 hours left of that game, and I'm done with that. But so really close with that. What I played of that, phenomenal. It just reminds me of everything a classic RPG should be. Like it's very classic feeling, everything about it just phenomenal. The musical presentation, the visual presentation, the stories, the characters are really likable. Just an awesome, fine RPG there. Radiant Storia, actually, I'm about halfway through that. This is kind of a thing with me. I have a hard time playing through like handheld games, like really long handheld games, and because I usually don't play my handheld for extended periods of time, like the most I can do is maybe 2 hours on a handheld at once. So like it's hard to get through some of those really long RPGs, but definitely want to finish that up. And Final Fantasy VII, I'm actually not too far into. I think I'm about 5 to 8 hours. And I think that's going to weight more towards when I'm on my winter break from college. I think that would be a good time to play it. And finally, on to the actual games. First game up, it was actually on my backlog. And that is, I beat 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, and I got a couple endings. I only got like 2 endings, but very interesting game. I was kind of skeptical. I was like, am I really going to like a graphic novel game? You know, these aren't my kind of games. I was actually hooked on it. Like, you know, instead of like reading a book late at night, I found myself playing this. It was kind of weird, but like I always played this like late at night. Like it was kind of like reading a late night book, but very interesting. It's got some very interesting puzzle solving, which kind of feels like Phoenix Wright-like, and it's very interesting. Very powerful story, but yet even those powerful moments, it kind of eases up the tension with some actually very hilarious comedic, like just kind of separation there with some of the characters. All the characters are very different, just very interesting. There's multiple endings, and some endings range from like really awesome to like just outrageously far-fetched. So very awesome game. I'm actually really happy with what I played of this. So definitely can't wait for Virtue's Last Reward, which is a sequel for 999. So if you like visual novel games, you know, interesting stuff like that, so it's definitely worth checking out. They talk about some really interesting science theories too. Like it's interesting. The next game we have is a PS3 game I recently got, and I actually didn't expect to finish it, but I actually became really addicted to it, and I actually beat it in like literally 3 to 4 days, like straight, because I was kind of powering through it and I was hooked. Surprisingly, and that is Artanelko Quoga Nell of Arcel. I actually just recently got this and beat it already, so it's not a long game. It's about like, I think I beat it in 28 hours, and NISA RPGs, for the most part, with the exception of Disgaea, tend to be shorter kind of RPGs. But surprisingly, I really enjoyed this. This is my favorite Artanelko game for sure. I didn't expect to actually go through and beat it, but I found the characters actually quite interesting, and just the concept of it, it's very over the top, very out there, and kind of combines like different mechanics of NISA games. Like the exploring the dungeons and the alchemy system remind me so much of Atelier, which makes sense because this is by Gus. But then you have like the battle system, which is like a real-time action-based battle system, which is different from the other Artanelko games. Almost reminiscent of like a Tales of battle system or a Star Ocean battle system. Obviously a little less refined, but still gets the job done. Very fun, and just the moves are very extremely over the top, and reminds me of like Hyperdimension Neptunia moves where like I'm literally summoning cakes and like destroying enemies with big cakes and cats and stuff like that. Like it just doesn't make any sense, and all that combined equals this really raunchy yet very interesting JRPG that was very fun to play, short-lived, a very emotional game because, you know, as you know, you have to kind of go through a romance with these 2 girls, and you want to save them basically because you find out they become a little bit sick. But it's very interesting. It's got a dive mechanic where you got to go through these girls' minds basically and kind of learn more about them. And the reason I say this game is a bit raunchy is because it literally has a mechanic called purging, and Purging is you have to remove more clothes from the girls, like purge more clothes away from them so they can use stronger magic. Very over the top, very interesting. It even has like a music rhythm part where if you purge them like all the way, it becomes a music rhythm game where you have to like time your hits to do more damage. Very interesting, beautiful music because obviously art canonical games are known for being based around music. So overall, a fun little quirky, over the top, raunchy little experience in art canonical. This next one is probably the reason I wasn't able to finish like some of the other games I thought, is because this game was a bigger time sink than I expected it to be, but at the end of the day, I fully love this game. I think it is probably my second favorite JRPG of this generation, only behind Tales of Vesperia, but that is the great and massive and epic Xenoblade Chronicles. I feel like I'm part of the few who actually beat this game, honestly, too, because I hear so many people are like, yeah, I started the game, I got like halfway through and never finished it. This game is massive. I can't blame the people for maybe like losing steam on it, but it took me 80 plus hours to beat this game, and I did not expect that. But really, a phenomenal game. I played through the first half, really enjoyed that, and then I got to a point where I just kind of took a break from Xenoblade. I wasn't necessarily bored or anything. I just felt like I needed a break, and I started playing some other games. Like I got back into Lost Odyssey more and stuff like that. So at that time, I took a little, maybe a 1 month break, came back to it, and just powered through it. Like I just powered through this game. The later half, I'm glad I honestly came back to, is because the later half is phenomenal. It's just a very interesting game. I got fully addicted in the second half all over again. Xenoblade Chronicles is a massive, if you don't know, it is a massive RPG that's very MMO style. It's got like an MMO style battle system, and it's just massive in scope. Like these environments will take you, like if you want to explore some of these environments in their entirety, it will take you literally like 3 to 4 to 5 hours to completely explore some of these areas. Like to traverse from one part of the map to like the other side of the map could take almost upwards of a half an hour to an hour. Just a massive game, beautiful, beautiful presentation. Some of these levels, oh my god, some of these levels are phenomenal. I think some of my favorites is still the Satoral Marsh at night. Is a beautiful sight, especially by the big tree. And what I think it's called like Volnik Mountains or something, but it's got like these little crystals that shoot up light at nighttime. It's just a gorgeous sight. The music is phenomenal. Really, if you're like maybe halfway through Xenoblade, I would say the halfway point's about 35 to 40 hours. If you're halfway through and enjoying it, trust me, the second part blows away the first part like out of the water. Like it gets phenomenal towards the later end of the game. And honestly, I was wondering, kind of skeptical, like how can they wrap this up in the ending? There's a lot to wrap up here. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening, a lot of twists and turns in the second part that you would not see coming, trust me. And just, it takes you places where you would not believe towards the end. But phenomenal game. It really did wrap up the ending beautifully. The ending was just absolutely beautiful and has one of my favorite ending themes of an RPG in the history called Beyond the Sky, which is just a beautiful piece. Overall, you know, just the ending and how powerful the ending was. I look back, reflect on my experience with this game, and it really was an experience. It was a massive experience. It was an epic journey filled with so many highs and lows, emotional times of like sadness to happy to absolute aggravation and frustration, because it gets hard towards the later part of the game. That's why it took so long for me, is because towards the later part of the game it almost becomes like a boss rush mode and it becomes relentless at times. But just overall I'm glad I powered through it, because this was an absolutely beautiful experience on the Wii. Definitely one of the fine RPGs of this generation, and rightfully I think it takes my second spot for one of the greatest RPGs of this generation. So bravo, Monolith Soft. Absolutely. And these next two games are on the 360. I want to get through these really quick since I don't want this video to go too long. But first we have Dungeon Siege 3. I picked this up because, you know, I was playing all these JRPGs and stuff like that. And usually when I play a lot of JRPGs, I get this craving to play like a classic Western style RPG. And this fit the bill perfectly. This is like almost like just a typical Western RPG where like you choose between different characters and like they have different classes, from like firearms to fighting with swords to casting magic, and you learn different abilities. So like a Diablo game or something, you learn different abilities, and you really do, hence the name Dungeon Siege, you do some massive dungeon crawling. You come to dungeons everywhere, and they usually end with like a mid-boss fight throughout the dungeon, and then a boss fight towards the end of the dungeon. There's usually objectives for you to do in a dungeon, and you can pick up side quests from other people in some of the cities. Lots of loot to be had here. This is like a loot fest where you just get, the enemies are always dropping treasure and all this good stuff to pick up. So it's all about equipping your character to the best setup. So I absolutely love this because it really fit the bill of like a classic Western style RPG for me. It looked gorgeous, the sound design was really nice, and just a phenomenally fun game. The characters were actually really quite interesting. I played through as Katrina, who I absolutely love Katrina. She uses her firearms ability with a shotgun and two like dual flintlock pistols. She's really awesome. And you usually have a partner who helps you out. Also, it's got options for co-op as well. It's not a long game, it's only about 15 hours, but the story is actually really interesting. It got more interesting as I got more into it because, like Mass Effect, you're going to come across like these dialogue options and you're going to have really big choices to make. You know, choices from like letting someone die to like, you know, should I let this guy go to jail or should I free him or should he die? You know, some big choices and it affects the outcome of the ending. So really interesting game. If you're looking for a classic style RPG that's not a big time sink like a Diablo or something, you should definitely check out Dungeon Siege 3. And lastly, we've come to the end here. This was definitely an awesome game. I originally was playing this, you know, way back when. I just never finished it. I needed to wrap it up, and turns out I didn't have a whole lot left to do in it. It probably took me another 4 or 5 hours to beat it, but that is Rockstar's great Red Dead Redemption. I absolutely love this game. It's phenomenal. I personally feel this is Rockstar's best work yet. Maybe I haven't played Max Payne 3, which looks really awesome, and I'm actually really interested in Max Payne 3. But I think this is some of Rockstar's best work, far none. It's phenomenal. It's Western style Grand Theft Auto, but unlike a Grand Theft Auto, the focus really does feel like it's on the story. John Marston is an amazing character. He develops over time. He's just a phenomenal character. And it is a very powerful game. The stories and the missions are actually intertwined really nicely, and they're actually really interesting. It leads to a really interesting story. It's gritty, very gritty and dark at times, like a Western should be. You're riding horses on horseback, getting into like gunfights and stagecoaches and stuff like that, hunting down trains, stealing from people, you know, just all kinds of different stuff. Hunting is actually pretty fun in this game as well. So much to do. The game is absolutely massive. And it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience. If you like westerns, definitely worth checking out. It has everything a western should have. You know, even duels, like just quick little duels like that. That's the thing too. I know a lot of people kind of don't like this game, but this game is geared towards a certain audience. If you don't like westerns, which a lot of people actually don't like westerns, I know some people think they're boring or stuff like that, or they look kind of bland. And like people would think like the setting for this is kind of bland because it's just open fields and dirt and all that, mountains for just ages and ages. But very interesting. I love westerns. That's the thing about it. I absolutely love westerns. I grew up in Arizona. You know, I've been to Tombstone, Arizona, which is famous for a lot of westerns being filmed. But just phenomenal. I love this game. It really is phenomenal. It has a powerful ending. Definitely worth playing all the way through just for the ending alone, because that was something. That was a very powerful experience, and it caught me completely off guard. But a beautiful experience. If you like westerns, definitely check out Red Dead Redemption. I could definitely see why it won a lot of Game of the Years when it came out, and I think it rightfully deserved those awards too. So definitely love. Wow, so there you have it, guys. That is my summer backlog follow-up. I cleared a lot of games that I was not even expecting to beat, and some I was just really happy to beat. But overall, I think it was a good summer. I beat a lot of interesting games, and I came away with some really unique experiences that I won't soon forget. So definitely thank you for watching this video. I know it's gone on long enough, but that was quite a bit of games. So anyways, thank you for watching. I look forward to doing another one of these for next year and see how good I could do then. But also in the comments, you can let me know some of the games you beat over the summer. Were there some games you were looking forward to beating over the summer that you just didn't get to, or what are the games you actually did wind up beating over the summer? Let me know. I'm always interested to see what you guys are playing. So thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.